All right, everybody. Hi, this is Mrs. Manalo, and what I'm going to go over today is the Bezier game. What this is a way for you to learn how to use the pen tool. Now, we use the pen tool a lot when we use Adobe Illustrator and sometimes in Adobe Photoshop. But why do you need to learn the pen tool? Well, the reason you need to learn the pen tool is so you can create different shapes with smooth lines and curves. And the reason you want to do that is so, for example, say you're working on a drawing and you want to bring it in, it's a way that you could trace over your artwork and make sure your edges are nice and clean. All right, so first we'll start with this first page, which is really easy. You just kind of click on the dot. So click, click, and click, and now it brings you to the next one. Now it's telling you to use the Shift key. Why? Well, let me show you. If I just pull it, it'll kind of like go, wherever I'm holding it. But if you hold on the Shift key, it kind of locks it into place, whether you're doing like a 45-degree angle or if you're doing something nice and straight. Instead of me pulling it over, it keeps a nice straight line. So it's a good way to make sure that your lines are straight versus being kind of all over the place. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we are going to create a circle. Instead of just clicking points, now we're going to click and drag, release. So click, drag, release. Click, so you're pulling the handles, drag, release. Click, drag. You want to make sure the handles are lining up with the handles that are on this screen. And again, click, drag, release. And then it should kind of snap into place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to use the Alt key. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So you need to make sure when they have these long lines with a little dot at the end, those are the handles. The handles help you to make curves. So I'm going to click, drag, pull, and so if I just move it around, you can see the whole thing moves. But if you want to just have one side of this thing move, then you hold the Alt key, and now only one side is moving. So as I'm still have my finger down on the trackpad, and I'm bringing this up, I'm doing it with the Alt key, then let everything go. Come over here, click, drag, hold the Alt key, now I'm only moving one side, let go of everything, come over here, and then click. And so again, basically the Alt key is allowing you to move only one part of the handle versus the whole thing being moved. So let me show you again. So click, 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 and then now when I come over here to the tire, I want to make sure that I'm getting that nice clean radius. So I'm going to click, drag. You want to make sure you stay within the lines. Let go, then I'm going to come over here, click, and then go straight across again. Then come halfway because you want to make sure the radius is the same on both sides. Click, and here I am just clicking and letting go, clicking, letting go. Now I'm going to come all the way over here, and this is where it starts, some students I notice get a little stuck. So what happens is you're pulling both sides again, you see the radius, that line is moving. So you want to make sure you're staying within the car. Hold down the Alt or Option key, Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac. Bring that handle back to center and then let everything go. And you'll see it's only maintaining that radius. Now, instead of it being curved, you can see the lines back to being straight. So, pull it, click, and then come all the way over here, click as you're holding it down, pull, and again, you're going to kind of play with this a little bit to make sure that you're within the lines. And once you have it where you want it, let go, and that's it. So click to the next stage. And so usually with some of the items that are in the Bezier game, there's more than one way to do it, depending on how you're doing your curve. So I'm just going to click straight. Here I'm going to click in the middle of this like kind of angular circle, pull just a little bit. That way when I pull on this side, The curves are about the same. Click here where it's straight and where it starts curving. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click, drag, and play with it a little bit just to make sure that I have the angle and the radius that I'm looking for so it stays within the confines of the trace. Hold down the Option key, bring it back, then let go of everything. Click, 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 and click. Now next stage. So now here we come to the paperclip, and there's a couple different ways you can do this, but let's go with the click there. So let's see what happens if we do this. Are we going to be able to get that nice clean radius? Are we going to be able to keep it inside? No. Let's try a little bit more. Maybe if we move over just a tiny bit. Hold the Alt key, bring it back. Oh, and it's in. So click, bring it down. This one I think the radius is a lot more tight, so I'm going to go in the middle, stretch it out, come over here, go straight. I'm going to pull this over, see if it'll stay in. It does. Hold the Option key to move this over, and then straight. And now I'm in the next stage. So generally whenever you have a radius here, you want to make sure that you kind of, to get it even on both sides, you want to kind of go in the middle and then pull so that it's the curve that you're doing on one side is the same as the other, just like you did here. The cool thing is even though it's not perfect here, as you can see, there's still that bit of an edge. If you were working in Illustrator, once you have the original shape, you could always go back and kind of refine it by playing with the handles and things like that. And we'll get into that in another time. But just to let you know, when you're trying to smooth out the lines, you could always play with the points, and you can move the handles and kind of get things smoothed out. But generally when I'm working pretty quickly, it's like click, click, drag, click, you try to get everything right the first time because that's what you want to do. But sometimes even then, if you make some mistakes, you can kind of go back and correct it a little bit. All right, so now we're going to go to the next stage. Click. I'm going to come over here, click, drag. Try to get it within that angle. Hold the Alt key as you're still holding down the track pad. Bring it back, and then release everything. Come over here, click, click, drag, release, click, click straight, then come over here, click, drag. Now hold down the Alt Option key, bring this back, and then you can let everything go. Click, click and drag because there's a bit of a radius there. Bring this back to center, let everything go, click, and then you're done. I'll do one more just to kind of show you the curves. And so usually as I'm working in this program, I usually try to stick with a clockwise frame, right? It's just the way that I'm used to working when I play this game. So let's start with this point here. I'm going to click on this, click here. Now click drag so I can get kind of the same curve on both sides. Click again. This one, let's see, can I get it in just one? No, it's a little sharp. So from here, I'm going to click and then try and bring this over. It might be off a little bit. Undo. A shortcut for undoing in this program would be Command or Control Z. Command on a Mac, Control on a PC or Chromebook. So bring this down. Click. Oops. Click. And for this one, I don't need to go halfway. Now hold the Option key to bring it back to center to get rid of the curve, and because I'm going to be starting a new one, click and drag. Nope, won't work. And if it doesn't work, as you just saw, it'll kind of undo itself if it's not within the line. So then now I know it's like, okay, well, I want to work with using the handles. So click as I pulled, and then, oops, Command Z to go back. And there we go, next stage. All right, and then now we're going to come to the face. So hopefully after the first view, you could see that, you click, 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 you get straight lines. If you click and drag, then what's going to happen is you'll get the curved lines. And so as you continue working on this program, and again, I'm not going completely perfect here, but as time progresses, you will start slowly getting better, and you'll notice that your skills with the pen tool will slowly improve. And it definitely takes time, and there's usually more than one way to do the same thing. And so here you can see I'm playing with the hair, kind of trying to get that in. Not sure if it's going to work because it looks like it's kind of out of the boundary. Yep, sure is. I'm going to undo that. So I'm going to pull this, hold down the Alt Option key, bring this handle down just a little bit, and then try that here. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Hold the Option key, go back to the point, let go, and then pull this, and then there we go. All right, and so again, each image, you still have a few more stages to go through, but the main thing is click, click, click when you're just trying to get straight lines, click, drag to get a curve, and then if you're just trying to do one side of the handle, as you're still holding down, after you click, pull, you're still holding on to the trackpad with your fingers, hold Alt Option key to move just one handle, and then you can move that, and then if you want to, you can move that to get the curve to end. All right, guys, if you have any other questions, we'll be back for a part 2 on this tutorial. Thanks.